Shalom, shalom. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles for their education and knowledge. And to Wadi Ba'ashem Yashah for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles so they become edified regarding this truth and knowledge. And knowing this truth and knowledge, so we can know this truth and knowledge. Call holy Yah Ba'ashem Yashah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yashah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. This is one of video report. I want to read some information on it. It's a little bright out here, so you won't be able to see the video, but I'll read some information and I'll play the video so you can try to hear the information as well. Alright, this is PIX 11 News. Russian forces shell Ukraine's #2 city, which is Kharkiv, and menace Kiev. Russian forces are shelling Ukraine's second largest city, which is Kharkiv, rocking a residential neighborhood and closing in on the capital, Kiev. And 40 miles convoy of hundreds of tanks and other vehicles. So that pretty much that campaign. The country in battle, presidents say stepped up shelling is aimed at forcing him into concessions. Meanwhile, talks aimed at stopping the fighting. Stop the fighting yield only an agreement to keep talking. So that the agreement is trying to relate to the ceasefire, continuing talks. Amid ever-growing international condemnation, Russia finds itself increasingly isolated while also facing unexpected fierce resistance on the ground in Ukraine and economical havoc at home.
Monday morning began with high-stakes talks between Ukraine and Russia. While the president of neither nation was there, officials from both sides met on the Belarus border. And after 6 hours, things ended as they started. No ceasefire. Here in New York, the United Nations General Assembly called its first emergency session in decades. The 193 member states discussed a resolution to condemn Russia.
This escalating violence, which is resulting in civilian deaths, including children, is totally unacceptable. Enough is enough.
While on the ground, the Ukrainian military is putting up a stronger resistance than most initially thought them capable. International outrage continues to grow. But Russian President Vladimir Putin remains defiant against the world. Heavy bombings pummel Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv. Russian troops continue to advance to the capital of Kyiv. The death toll continues to mount. Official estimates over 400 civilians have been killed, at least a dozen of them children, and the worst may be yet to come.
I think that we may well be on the cusp of a massive hardening of the Russian attack in ways that will test all of those Ukrainian.
Dozens of nations putting the economic squeeze on Putin and those in his inner circle. American officials announced they are expelling at least a dozen Russian intelligence operatives from the Russian mission to the UN. They're accused of espionage. And even tradition does not take sides, slap sanctions on the Kremlin. The freezing of assets being felt by everyday Russians. Long lines at banks and ATMs as the ruble sinks in value. Even soccer's governing body, FIFA, banning Russia from the World Cup and all competition.
Matthew 24 and 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. And that's what you're hearing. The herald of the news of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So the end is not yet. This is just the beginning or the latter stages of what has to be, man. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in different places. That's what you're seeing. Famines, pestilence, all types of calamities, earthquakes, uproars of the people, nation against nation, kingdoms against kingdom, powerful super kingdoms and super nations against one another, man. For all these are the beginnings of sorrow. So that's the times we're in, man. It's the beginnings of sorrows. I'm going to read number 12. And because iniquity, which is sin, shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So the love of many is going to wax cold, and sin is going to increase, wickedly increase. I'm going to read 24 and 20. Pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. Why? The winter is cold. It's harsh conditions. Neither be on the Sabbath day. That's a day of holy, or a day of rest, and a sacred day. And basically, because this relates to pretty much that siege, the occupational takeover, man. And during this war, they're taking over that military campaign, which is a form of a military strike to target certain places, and a lot of people, and it's displacing a lot of people. And for example, in Ukraine, where they have to stay under shelter or bunkers, man, because they displacing the people where they become homeless, man. So they have to flee, they have to flight, because of what's going on, man. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. Put that with Jeremiah 30 and 7. A loss of time has never been since Jacob's trouble. It's going to be a bad time. This is that great tribulation, man. Except those days should be shortened, there shall be no flesh to be saved. Why? Because 1 Peter 5 and 8. Isaiah 59 and 19, Revelations 12 and 12, man. There shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days are short. They're going to be shortened for the elect's sake, because if not, there will be no flesh to be saved, man. Because what? 1 Peter 5 and 8, for the devil's going to come like a roaring lion, waiting to whom he may devour. Isaiah 59, he's coming like that flood, but a standard will be lifted up. So he's coming like a flood. Revelations 12 and 12, woe unto the inhabitants of earth and the sea, for the devil's going to come in great wrath, knowing but he has a short time. So he's going to come in a certain manner and pretty much aggressiveness, man. So those days will have to be shortened for the elect's sake, man. Let's go to Isaiah 13, I guess 17. Let's go to Isaiah 13 chapter. We'll read a few scriptures. I'll start at 13. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. That's the earth literally removed from its axis, And the wrath of the Lord of hosts, which is armies, in the day of his fierce anger, that's the judgment of Yahweh B'Shem Yashah, it shall be as a chase roe. Chase roe is pretty much a deer that's running, man. And as a sheep that have no man to take it up. So pretty much that sheep is open, vulnerable, exposed. They shall every man turn to his own people, so everyone's going to turn to their own kind, man. And flee everyone into their own land. Number 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through. So ones who are found, they're going to be thrust through. Certain things are going to happen to them, man. And everyone that is joined into them shall fall by the sword. Though hand join in hand, they shall not go unpunished, man. So everybody's going to be, there's going to be a separation where people are going to go to their own kind, man. And because of the certain types of things that's happening, people are going to be pretty much, they're going to be like the pilgrims. They're going to be on the run, man. They're going to be moving from place to place, man. So they're not going to be standing still because a lot of things are going to be happening in that time period, man. Number 16. Their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished. And ravished means pretty much taken by force, man. Things are going to be taken by force, man. You can put 2nd Ezra 15 regarding that. 15, 14 through 19. I'll read that, Lord willing. So, and that's that siege, man. Siege of personal property, private, public, business entities, man. It's going to be a siege. Martial law, troops invading. People going to spoil and break in because the times that's going to be. A lack of supplies, so people are going to break into certain establishments, homes, private businesses to find what they want because it's going to be a time where things are going to be very scarce and a very desperate and dire time, man. Number 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes, which is that bear, which is the Russians, man, against them which shall not regard silver. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So that's what's happening. That bear, the Medes, which is the Russians, they being stirred up, man. A good example is what's happening with the Ukraine and Russian situation. So that old warlike Soviet USSR mentality is coming back. Their bows, which are their weapons, also shall dash the young men to pieces. And they shall not have pity upon the fruit of thy womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. So they're not going to have pity upon young or old. I'll go with Deuteronomy 28 and 50. It relates to the Israelites, but talking about that fierce countenance. They shall not regard young or old, but you're going to equate that to a certain nation that has that fierce countenance. They're not going to regard young or old, man. They're not gonna have pity. They're not gonna be a respecter of persons, man, towards the young, old, or the elderly, or otherwise. In Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms and the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's Babylon. It's going to be overthrown. It's going to be like Sodom and Gomorrah, man. And that judgment is going to come on Babylon, just like the Lord did in Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, let's go to 2nd Ezra real quick. Let me get that. We'll start at number 14. Woe unto the world and them that dwell therein. Woe is what? For warning for destruction. It's a warning for what's going to happen on the inhabitants and ones who dwell in the land of the inhabitants of the world, man. The ones who dwell in that land. So something's going to happen to them, man. Scripture talk about the day of the Lord is not light, it's very dark, and nothing light about it, man. So the day of the Lord is going to be a day of darkness and not light, man. Very dark. Let's read it again. Woe into the world and them that dwell therein. So it's a warning for destruction for the ones that inhabit it and dwell on earth. For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. So it's going to draw nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, modern day weapons. The guns, for example, modern day sword. Other forms of weaponry going to be used upon one another. Civil, different types of category groups of people are going to come against other different types of category groups of people. So that division is being set forth. Think not that I come to send peace on earth, but nay, but division. Luke 12 and 51. Think not that I come to send peace, but a sword. Matthew 10:34. There's a few scriptures out relating to Luke 12:49 for where to be if the fire already be kindled, man. So the fire, that sword, that judgment is being set forth, that division. The Lord is setting these things upon the earth, man. These are all part of the prophecies what has to be fulfilled according to prophecy, man. 16, for there shall be sedition, insurrection, mutiny among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So the course of their actions, their course of actions is they put the powers back in their hands, and they're now regarding the kings and princes, man. So they're going to be invading one another, and they're not going to respect. Scripture talks about you see uproars of the people, earthquakes and uproars of the people. That's part of that. Civil unrest, protests over economical, financial, social, different type of things that's going on in society. The situation is currently going on. People are protesting about that. They also protesting relating to in Russia, protesting Ukraine relating to this war, or this form of a pre-proxy war or invasion, aka invasion. A man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. So that's martial law, curfews, lockdowns. You're not going to be able to go from point A to point B, man. Scripture talks about in the second Ezra, a man shall desire to hear another man, hear another person, but won't. So the communications, you won't be able to go move to and fro. It's going to be cut. Let me see if I can get that scripture too, through the Spirit. For because of their pride, the cities shall be in trouble because of their pride. Second Ezra 8:50. For many great misery shall be done in the latter times because they walk greatly in pride, man. That's why these things are happening, because the earth has been prideful, it's been wicked, man. So all these calamities, all these disasters, natural or otherwise, is being manifested, be made known on earth, man. The Lord is beginning to visit the world which He has made, man. Measure thy town diligently in itself. These things were spoken, the signs that were spoken since the days of the beginning, man. So these are the things that's going to be happening, man. All these things are going to be. They were spoken in the beginning that certain things would be manifest according to scriptures, according to prophecy, man. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing these things manifest, man. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because the state and condition, what's going to be going on is men, women, children are going to be afraid, man. It's going to be very bad times. 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. So that's that siege, that's that invasion, man. They're going to spoil, take what they want, because it's going to be very bad times, man. It's going to be dire times in those times. So a neighbor is not going to have compassion or sympathy for a neighbor, especially when they hungry or they lacking certain supplies or certain forms of, for example, food. When they lacking things, man. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses. So that's ravage, invade, siege with the sword, using the sword. That's that form of siege, ravish and rage and destroying, spoiling their goods because of a lack of bread, food, great tribulation. This is part of the great tribulation. These things are part of that. Second address 16, I believe, is 20.
That happened 4 weeks before that, but it wasn't bad.
16 and 27. Second address 16 and 27. So that one man desire to see another and hear his voice. Communication going to be cut. Like I said, curfews, lockdowns. You're not going to be able to see or be able to communicate with someone.
So I'm going to pay. Bob, I probably...
Go to second address 6 real quick.
Yes. Again? Grab what? Soda? No.
Second address 6 and I'll go to 20. And when the world that shall begin to vanish away. So the world's beginning to vanish away, man. Shall be finished. When I will shew these things, which are the tokens, the book shall be opened before the firmament, the heavens, and shall see altogether. So the books are being opened, the signs are being manifested, and the earth is slowly beginning to vanish away, deteriorate and vanish away. 22, I'll go to 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, forced, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. So that's what you're saying, the lack of supplies, food, victuals. The supply chain. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. So friends are going to become enemy in those times. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. Earth's going to stand in fear because of the things that's going to be going on. The springs of the fountains shall stand still. In 3 hours they shall not run. That's the physical waters. The physical waters are going to stop, man. And the society relates to that faucet, that running water, man. It's slowly getting cut off, man. And that's what you're seeing, man. Let's go back to see this other video.
For centuries, the Sentinel truck.
This is a crux. I'm just reading the information. The 6th day of the Russian invasion of Ukraine saw Putin's forces step up attacks in Kharkiv, and Kharkiv had been hit by a fresh shelling of Russian forces bombarded Ukraine's second largest city with rockets. Russian missiles fire reportedly led to a large explosion in Kharkiv and has left 10 dead and 20 injured. Satellite images have shown 40-mile-long Russian convoys massing near the capital, Russia, and has told Kiev Kiev residents living near the intelligence infrastructure leave their homes. So ahead of the planned attack, so pretty much abandon ship, leave your houses, man, because those places are going to be bombarded. They're going to be invaded, man. And that's a Crux video, Crux report. Leave your homes. Russia open threats to Kiev. This is NBC. Matt Bodner reports on what came out of the talks with Russia and Ukraine officials after a meeting in Belarus, where one of Zelensky's advisors said main focus of Ukraine's is a ceasefire. How following the meeting, massive explosions were heard in. So when they were pretty much continuing talks relating to the ceasefires, there's still bombing going on, making it unclear if a ceasefire will be possible. Very unlikely. This was just a few report relating to that was the NBC News. The other was Crux, and the other was IX News, IX News. I believe that's in New York, relating to information regarding that. There's a few scriptures. I hope it helps whoever listens. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. This brother Zayab means wolf. Hope it helps. Shalom. Thanks.